my first online yoga class. As I've said in my introduction video, going to keep this very simple. Going to introduce things very slowly to you in terms of different kind of yoga techniques and things to keep you calm right now. Bearing in mind I've had a stroke, and a lot of my followers have had strokes and brain injuries and stuff like that, and we're just going to take it all really slowly, also for just beginners as well that have never done any yoga and you just want to know a little bit. So today I'm just going to show you a very simple breathing technique. I wanted to show you Nadi Shodhana, which is a balancing breath, but it involves touching the face, which we're not allowed to do right now. Even though you're in your own home, you've probably washed your hands, I'm not going to encourage that. So I'm going to do, I can't remember the Sanskrit name of it, but it's called square breathing. It's a very good breathing technique to help you relieve stress, reduce anxiety. Breathwork and pranayama will help, and meditation as well. It shrinks the amygdala, which is the fight or flight area of our brain. If we can start to shrink that down and release less cortisol, we can have less reactions to things that are happening. We cannot control what is going on in the world. We cannot control how our body reacts, and we cannot control how our mind reacts, all those scary thoughts that fly into it. One thing you can control is your breath. So if you can bring it back to the breath, that's just going to start bringing you moments of calm amongst everything that's happening. And when you, like scientifically as well, when you start to control your breathing, like when people are having anxiety attacks or panic attacks, or if you're running really fast, you get really out of breath and you're breathing really here in your chest, if you can start to control that, and you see sports people and kind of taking long deep breaths and breathing in through the nose and breathing out really slowly, you can start to control that. You can control your body reacts to your breath. So the slower your breath is, the calmer your body and your mind will start to become. So I'm just going to teach you today a very simple breathing technique called square breathing. So let's talk about your seated position firstly. I sit in, I can't remember, no, this is Supta, I think, cross-legged. I can't sit like that because I'm so loose in the hips that when I sit like this it starts to really tighten up. So I get more comfort sitting like this. Some people can do, I can't do a full Padmasana. Some people come to lotus and can do a full lotus. If that's where you find your comfort, that's where you find your comfort. This is all about comfort. If your seated position is not comfortable, you won't be able to focus on the breath. So find where your comfort is. For some people, if you can't find any comfort through cross-legged, you can come up to Vajrasana. That's a little bit more comfortable for people, as long as you don't have knee issues. If you do find you have knee issues, I've got props. Get a little flannel, fold it up, and just pop it under the knee joint, and that's just going to start giving you more space in the knee, because a lot of what yoga does is just create more space, and it helps that synovial fluid that's in your joints. It just helps you kind of produce a bit more of that, so it makes your body a bit more flexible. So Vajrasana for people who can't sit cross-legged. If this is still uncomfortable, get a cushion. Just sit on the cushion, and it'll just start to get your body used to sitting in these positions. We don't sit on the floor enough in this country. I went to India in January, and the elderly people are sitting on the floor. They don't have chairs. They don't need chairs, and they're so much more flexible, and they're bouncing up and down. And I read an article, I can't remember exactly, but because over here we use chairs, we kind of lose a lot of that flexibility, which affects our hips, which affects our emotions. So the more you can get comfortable sitting on the floor, the better it is for everything. So sit on a cushion, folded up blanket. I mean, I don't have any yoga props either, but you can just pop a folded up blanket under your hips. This is going to help give you a bit more comfort through the hips. if a folded up blanket is still not enough and you haven't got any blocks, use a book. I've been using my book. Just bring just your seating bones onto the edge of the book. You don't need to sit all the way on it. And it just gives you more space through the hips. So whatever your seated position looks like, try and find it. Cross-legged, Padmasana, half Padmasana, Vajrasana, whatever it looks like, laying down isn't going to help you here, because if you lay down, some people lose concentration and tend to fall asleep. That's why we sit up to meditate. The ultimate goal of all the asana practice, all the positions, is to find your comfort in your meditation position. So just try and find some comfort here, however that looks. And then once you find your comfortable position, hands open on your knees, facing up. Again, it affects the diaphragm, which way your hands are, so it's going to affect your breath. So you want the hands up for this. And all we're going to do is simply breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Breathe out for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. And just keep repeating that. And as you're doing that, just follow the square. That's why it's called square breathing. Each breath is like the corner of the square. So you breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. Breathe out for 4. Hold for 4. And just keep doing that and keep imagining that square in your head, because that's going to give your mind something to focus on. And also, the more you can learn to hold that breath, the retaining on when you're holding it, and don't hold it like that, just suspend it for 4 seconds. That's going to give you greater lung capacity, which if you do end up with a respiratory illness, your lungs are going to be a little bit healthier to kind of deal with any nasty illness thrown at it. So just recap again, comfortable seated position, however you find your comfort. Both legs behind you, kneeling, crossed, just find it. As long as you can sit there for, start with a minute, just to get yourself used to it. Because one of the things with meditation is people go, I can't do it, it's too hard. You have to practice. I can only do 20 minutes of meditation. Just come to the breath, come to imagining the square, and just do it for a minute just to get yourself used to it. And once you get used to it, your body will start going, I like that. I think I can do it longer. Don't be thinking, oh, I've got to sit for 20 minutes and practice, because otherwise just a minute. And then don't even think about, oh, when am I going to increase it? Or I need to do a minute today and 2 minutes tomorrow. Your body will know when it's ready to increase it. And also with the 4 second breathing, even if it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, your body will start, as it gets used to it, your body will start to slow to the counts of 4. So it will start being 1, 2, 3, 4. And don't force your body into anything. Our bodies are so intelligent. And just go with it. That's what yoga's all about. That's what you've got to surrender sometimes. So hope you enjoyed my first little introduction to breathing and pranayama. Hopefully it'll help you find some peace and some comfort. Just 1 or 2 minutes a day. Lock the kids in the bathroom, lock your husband out. Just find a little somewhere to find some, get a cushion, get a rug, get a book. I'm still sitting on my book. And just find a few minutes amongst all the chaos that's out there to start trying to work on calming your inside. Because what's inside is all we can control. We can't control any of the outside. And so yeah, hope this helps. And hopefully in the next few weeks I'll start showing you some more yoga moves and things like that. I'm going to start building myself up to being on camera. Not something that I'm used to, especially doing yoga on camera. And yeah, just kind of getting some ideas of putting a class together that could be quite grounding, and also bringing it in slowly as well, because I think with everything that's happening and with lots of people being at home, people are putting a lot of pressure on themselves to, oh, I'm at home, I've got to get loads done. No, you don't. Just get done what you need, what you can do. Honestly, just because you're at home doesn't mean you have to be super duper productive. Just get done what gets done. If you fit in some breathing, some meditation, brilliant. If you fit in a yoga class, a workout class, a walk, a run, brilliant. You don't need to pressurise yourself. There's a global pandemic. So yeah, I'm going to leave you there, but namaste.